overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed by it, and maybe some others. And yet it goes off in so many different directions, it's hard to focus, as you will appreciate. And I also appreciate that it's very difficult to focus on any one thing given what's at the table. It's too much to expect from it. At the same time, I want to make some random comments rather than anything terribly focused. My name is Michael Grupp, and I've spent my time in ethics and moral theory for the last 40 years. I'm coming out of retirement now to think again, which is why I'm here. I'm remembering a philosophy professor. When you make the comment and you tell us the story of Sherlock Holmes, one of my great heroes, and Moriarty, his arch enemy, and you say that he flipped a coin, you should have flipped a coin in order to make a decision as to what the best thing was to do. There's a professor by the name of K.D. Irani, as I remember him, City College, poor man's Harvard at the time. And Irani stood there like this, and we were discussing free will and determinism. He had his finger out like this, and he said, which one of you can tell whether I'm going to do this or this with that finger? And there was all kinds of debate and discussion for the next 3 or 4 weeks on the topic. And he ended up by saying at one point, which impressed me a lot, it's still with me, and I'm bringing it here to the table. If we knew everything about K.D. Irani, everything, we could predict what he would do. At the time, there was no discussion of neuroscience. I never heard the word before. I knew they were neurons, but I didn't know what they meant. Now you're describing them. This was some time ago. So I begin to wonder what you mean when you say that you, sir, Paul, that's the name I have, want to understand everything there is. When I sat behind you, I couldn't stop the challenge at the moment. To me, it was a challenge. As to why it is that you want to know all these things. What is it that you're interested in to know? And that goes for all of you at the table, and me too, about living in the real world. What is it you really want to know? And why do you want to know that? And then I heard the word control mentioned once or twice. And from the sociological point of view, I left it alone, because I was concerned that we'd be talking about a totalitarian question, which wasn't at the table, and I didn't really want to introduce it, yet I do. Where do you want to go with all this? Maybe this is not the time to answer all that. But here you are in the various university disciplines promoting ideas and organizations, promoting ideas with what in mind? Where is it going to go? Vance Packard, you may remember. Some of you remember that book, The Hidden Persuaders, and I think it's from that book I quote. Subliminal. Do you remember the word subliminal? You still use it? I don't really know. As I say, I'm not sure it's used anymore. Yes. But the question was, from the economist's point of view, how could you sell more Coca-Cola? That was the issue. Economics, economicus, in the movie theater. And so what they did was to put the subliminal phrasing on the bottom of the screen below your consciousness level, but within your framework of reaching you in some level. And during the intermission of this very dull movie, sales of Coca-Cola went up 50, 70, I don't know how much %. Because you were approached at a way of understanding through your neuroeconomic content, however you want to describe this now, biologically, psychologically, psychoanalytically, Dr. Nersesi, whichever way you wish to go. You were going to change the behavior of people. And what I wanted to know, and what you have to ask, it seems to me, as moral agents, which you are, because you are teaching people what they should be thinking about and making every effort to convince them that your position is a good one. The interplay between you two gentlemen is wonderful. But it masks something, I would suspect. I think it masks the difference between you and making authority in the world, up to a point. And that's all right. We're all there. So I didn't get up to scold. I feel like I'm scolding. I don't mean to scold. And yet it concerns me a great deal about what you mean by control. And that's the deeper issue. You're now about to give another tool to the community that will give somebody an opportunity to have control over what I purchase. And if the box of Tide comes in a blue box, I'll say it's good and mild. And if it comes in a red box, I'll say it's harsh. I don't like the chemistry. And if it comes in a yellow box, I won't buy it anymore because it burns my hand. I could go on indefinitely. I stop at this point.
Thank you.
Mine is just an observation.
Thank you. Does anybody